Let's get started with the NBA. Some big news coming out yesterday. It seems like they're taking the latest gambling allegations and investigation from the FBI quite seriously. The NBA sent a memo to all 30 teams in the National Basketball Association reassessing their measures on legal sports betting and how it should be regulated, what bets should be allowed. The league also wrote in a memo that it's reviewing policies regarding injury reporting, training, and education on NBA personnel. And there's a possibility that it sounds like Adam Silver, who you see right there, the commissioner of the NBA, may get involved in potentially limiting some bets as far as prop bets are concerned. So we'll see what the NBA holds in the future. And actually, that was a bombshell dropped on us last week. How about this one, though? Soccer referees, always the focus around the world, not just here in the United States. How about this report from Front Office Sports? 371 of Turkey's 571 active professional referees were found to have betting accounts. In fact, 152 were actively gambling. These are referees in the sport. Of the 152 referees, 7 of them were officials at the top level. So how is this happening around the world? I guess referees are exempt from some of the punishment from sports betting here in the United States. I'm sure they're going to have to get a handle on that as well. Okay, now let's get to one of the best games in the history of the Fall Classic. The World Series went 18 innings yesterday. It was the latest I've stayed up in a really, really long time. Full transparency, did fall asleep, did wake back up, and I'm like, I'm highly invested in this. I may as well watch the whole thing. 6-5, the final yesterday, as the Dodgers end up beating the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of heroes in this one, especially on the side of the Dodgers. A reliever named Will Klein came in the game and pitched 4 2/3 through 70 pitches. He had never thrown more than 30 in a Major League Baseball game. As far as Shohei Ohtani was concerned, folks, Ohtani got on base yesterday 9 times in a single game. Let me repeat that. He was on base 9 times in the game last night, which is the most in the history of Major League Baseball, ties the record, which was set back in 1922. Naturally, the big shot was in the 18th inning, as you see there with Freddie Freeman hitting a home run. Freeman was asked afterwards if he was just flat out exhausted from the game yesterday.
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't actually that tired. When you have your bullpen doing what they're doing, it just keeps firing you up over and over and over again. If you're tired in a World Series game, I don't think anybody's tired after that. But it's just when you're going through all that, 0 after 0, I was just trying to get on base against a tough lefty sinker baller with a hard curveball. I was just trying to get on, but got to a 3-2 count and was able to put a good swing on it. My swings were getting better as the game was going on. I thought I had a couple of hits in, 21 innings ago. It felt like my swing was getting better and better, and thankfully I was able to get one over. But I don't think we're physically tired. I think you're just mentally tired because you're in it every pitch, and every pitch means something in the World Series and in the playoffs. So I think we're all emotionally and mentally drained.
John Schneider, by the way, manager of the Blue Jays, did his best to keep the team in the game. They kept bringing in bullpen arms, including Eric Lauer, unsung hero for them, who pitched several innings but didn't get the win. Here is Schneider after the game, proud of his guys despite the loss.
It was a lot, man. I love the way we played. I love the way we fought. I think every single player had the right intentions on both sides tonight. There's a lot of things you look at. We had chances to score. They had chances to score. Yeah, a lot to digest, you know what I mean? But I think turning point's obviously a walk-off homer. But, man, I give my guys so much credit for playing the way they did, and Eric Lauer pitching the way he pitched. That's pretty unbelievable. I know Klein did the same thing for them. But a lot to unpack in that game, but I couldn't feel as good as I do right now about the way they went about it.
Yeah, great game yesterday. Shohei Ohtani, by the way, who I mentioned, got on base 9 times. Guess what? He's the starter tonight for the Dodgers. We'll break that game down later. If you missed any of Monday Night Football like me, you didn't miss a thing. The Kansas City Chiefs just dominated the Washington Commanders. Washington, without their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, just a shell of a team, 28-7. Mahomes with a good game. Travis Kelce threw a touchdown pass. Don't need to spend much more time on this. They won. They covered the spread easily. Here is the basic outlook for the Chiefs. Right now, they're right back in the playoff hunt, top 3 seed in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes said they're playing their best football.
Yeah, when we got in the locker room, we talked about executing. You know, like sometimes you want to press and make stuff happen, especially on a big game like Monday Night Football, and we weren't doing that. They had more energy than we did, their defense versus our offense, and so we had to match their energy and execute at a higher level. And we were able to do that in that second half and start off that first drive, and then we kind of continue that momentum through the rest of the second half.
I saw and felt that from the minute we stepped on the field, and that's honestly what we're looking for. But man, did we leave a lot of opportunities out there tonight, and you cannot leave that many chances out there and expect to win, especially against this team. Not capitalizing on the turnovers, not winning our fourth downs. They did. It was great to see us get in some of the takeaways. That's been an emphasis of what we've been hitting on. But, leaving here, you cannot leave that many opportunities out there and walk away from this place with a win. And, like the intensity of the first half, but I just thought the opportunities for us to make our mark, and we didn't nail those. So you're not going to walk away from here with a win and miss those ops.
After a wild sequence of injury reporting events last week, the Ravens are saying that Lamar Jackson will return to action this Thursday night in South Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. Jackson hasn't played in over a month, but John Harbaugh at his press conference seemingly alluding to him starting on Thursday night.
Yeah, we talked about that last night a little bit, but no, when it became apparent that he wasn't, when I knew he wasn't going to play for sure, we just declared him out. That's what we did. We were hopeful. Maybe there was a chance. I probably would say it was probably an outside chance, but I was still had my fingers crossed. And then it was came down from that side. And I say that side, I mean the player and the medical side. That's how it works. And so he was out.
John, have you been in touch with the league, and do you anticipate any punishment from the league regarding this change?
Yeah, no, I haven't been. I don't talk to the league about that, and I think we put a statement out about that and how it works, and that's all I know.
We'll see in the future with that. All right, Patrick Surtain is going to be out multiple games with a pec strain, tough injury for the Denver Broncos. The Falcons reeling after getting blown out at home by the Dolphins. Raheem Morris yesterday telling the media no staff changes, including their offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson. Cam Scatabo had surgery on his dislocated ankle. He said all went well. He's expected to miss the remainder of the season. Speaking of missing time, let's get to the NBA. Bad news for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards out 2 weeks with a hamstring strain. So no Anthony Edwards for Minnesota. Victor Wembanyama last night, 121, 103, Wemby 24 and 15, and they're 4-0 on the season. Nikola Jokic with a triple-double again as the Denver Nuggets beat the Minnesota Timberwolves by a final of 127-114, and the Celtics finally get their first win of the season. They did it against the Pelicans, and they get the victory 122-90, and of course cover that spread.